Hello again, everyone. In our last lesson, we talked about what we can do with the Bootstrap card component. So in this lesson, we're going to put it into our project. Now, as you can see, there are three card areas right next to each other in this section. So why don't we just get right to writing code without wasting any more time? Now, I've already prepared the code section for the grid in our HTML file. In fact, you should probably recognize this part of the code from the other courses in previous lessons. So we're just going to use that, hoping that you remember. So this section tag, here we used the ID again, and we used the class MT5 to give it some space from the top. Then I created divs with container, row, and column medium for class. So now I'm creating a div with a card class to prepare the first part, and one more div with the card header class. And then I'll write img because there is an image in this section. Of course, it's in the images folder, and the name is card1.jpg. So I'm also adding the class img fluid so that it's a responsive structure. And I'll also add my3 class to create gaps in between. So we've got top and bottom, and let's have a look and see what we're doing. Okay. Of course, it looked like this when the size of the photo we used was large. Now, when we change the width and the height properties and look again, yeah, the image improves. That's good enough for now. So the image doesn't stay centered, though. That's what I want to change first. So I'll create a div with card img class. And I'm going to get this here. Then I'll add text center next to the card class. So now it should be. And we added the photo. So now we can go to the body part. As you may recall, I created a div with a card body class. I'll add a title inside, then a paragraph and a button. And I want this button to be the same as in the header section, so I can just copy it from there. I'll write read more here. Yeah, so let's have a look and see what we're doing now. And our first card area is ready. Now, if you have a look at this here, the button has the same features as the button that we used first, right? So when we hover over it, the color changes, the sign appears, because the classes that we used here are the same, and we made those changes to our CSS file with these class names. The features used for this class are always going to be the same. So yeah, so that finishes that. Now we have to create two more. So I'll come in here and choose from the call MD4 class, and I'll add two more. So when you look at it now, three columns have come together, but here the photos are, well, pretty high. So let's give it some space here. We can use the PT3 class for this. Yeah, that looks better now. So why don't we go ahead and change the photos here. I can't change the photo names in this IMG, so I can write 2 and 3. And that'll do. And yeah, that's fine. Now here we can use card classes for the title or paragraph if we want to. But I don't need to. We could also create a footer area underneath here. We could also share social media links or whatever you want to do, but that's enough for now. This is looking pretty good, so I won't need to make any changes to our CSS file for now. In fact, let's have a look at the code that we've done so far. Bootstrap is very comfortable, so I hope you find it easy to use. But I don't want you to think that you need to memorize all of the class names or, you know, panic. Do I have to know them all? Is there going to be a test? Because the Bootstrap structure is the same in general, right? So let's say if I want to add one button, when I look at it, just to use the button class, and the class is starting with button. Or remember when we were preparing modal, we always use the classes starting with modal. You're getting the idea now, right? So now when preparing the card section, the same way we wrote our code in classes such as card header, card body, card footer. So the important thing to remember then is what kind of design we want to create and then the right way to start the project. So after that, everything's explained very well in the documentation section of the Bootstrap site. You see why it makes life easier? Very cool. So when we examine these different sites in Chrome and use Inspector, what codes are used in such a structure, we can see which Bootstrap classes are used, and that's how you learn what to look for on the Bootstrap site. So we've been talking to you about using Bootstrap from scratch. You're going to find that you'll develop your own methods, but it's really important to be able to do your research correctly by doing different code reviews and then applying different designs. But do your research. You're going to be able to do that after these lessons. So I think it's enough for now. I'll see you in the next lesson.